In your wanderings, you stumble upon a ruined temple buried deep within the heart of the forest. Wary, you continue on through thick overgrowth until you see a clearing that was once an ancient cathedral built by people, now rebuilt by nature itself. In the center is a preserved altar, stacked with various dice of all shapes and colors. As you contemplate what this means, a cloaked figure approaches from the shadows.
Welcome, brave adventurer. Have you come to roll the dice? Explore strange new worlds with new strange rules? If you seek adventure worthy of being shared with good friends, you have come to the right place. Just roll for initiative.
Welcome to the Nat One Nerds podcast.
Welcome to the podcast, everyone.
Hey guys, this is Nat One Nerds, and we're excited to bring you our Call of Cthulhu adventure today.
Brandon has graciously volunteered to be our game master, or as Call of Cthulhu refers to him, as the Keeper. I, Parker, will be a player. Our friend Pedro from the Storyteller's Tavern will also be another fellow player. And a surprising twist of fate, my wife Savannah has offered herself to be another player as well. After hearing our last episode, she got interested and wanted to join.
May I add really quick that when you informed me that this took place, that your wife listened to the episode and got so interested she wanted to join, it made my week. Because I thought I was being so boring, adding so much information to the show, that I did not know it was going to pique people's interest. I was so self-conscious after.
Hey, we think you did a great job, so that's the whole point, is we want to get people interested in these new systems.
Yeah, and I feel like with Call of Cthulhu, there is quite a bit to it. There's a little bit more math involved, I think, than Dungeons and Dragons. So there's just a little bit more information. So it just required a little lengthier of an explanation to make sure that all the aspects were touched on, so that people had a clear general impression of what the system was all about. So no, last episode I think was really good.
Awesome, I'm glad to hear.
Well, shall we jump to the world of Cthulhu here, Brandon?
I think we can get it started if everyone's ready.
We are ready.
I'm ready.
You ready, Savannah?
No.
Perfect.
That's the most honest response.
So, our adventure opens with a train traveling west. A lawyer by the name of Jonathan Lomax from the city of Arkham has been tasked by the BlackRock Mining Company to investigate a collapse in a mine that they've been excavating. Near the Superstition Mountains, they had a mine that they had found after 100 years of it being abandoned, and they were attempting to reopen it. But in doing so, some strange incident happened, which caused all of the miners except for one to perish, and the one miner remaining is stuck in a bout of insanity as he mumbles about something about claws and darkness. Now, as Jonathan looks out the window as his train arrives at its destination, he sees the red mountains in the distance and just sprawling brown. There's hardly any color to be seen as he enters the Arizona deserts. Jonathan, you get off the train into a blistering wind that seems to sap the moisture straight from your skin as you look around at the small adobe town of Apache Junction. There's not much here other than a few sun-scarred people wandering around, fulfilling their daily duties. And you know that this one surviving miner that you were here to speak with is in the local hospital, and you have been given directions.
Perfect. All right. So, Jonathan looking around, trying to get his bearings in this extreme heat, adjusts his bowler hat, per se, and grabs his small handkerchief, makes sure to dab his forehead, that is profusively creating sweat on his brow and starts to make his way completely with a straight back, so he looks like he knows what he's doing to the people around him, not knowing if the people are actually paying attention to him or not.
It seems that the locals don't even notice that you're there. They're all just trying to keep their heads down and eyes out of the sun.
I will say that I noticed that, but I still go straight forward towards the hospital, intentedly.
Okay. As you approach the hospital, from your Arkham background, you are used to large complexes for hospitals, but surprisingly, you see yourself arriving at a relatively small wood and adobe building that looks to be maybe 2 stories high and the size of a large house. As you enter, you talk to the receptionist, who is an elderly woman, and she just kind of looks up from her desk at you and says, "Name?"
My name is, Jonathan Lomax. I'm a solicitor. You guys call it here as a lawyer. I have come here to talk with the survivor from the incident at the mine of the Red Mountains.
You're here for Salvador?
Salvador, yes, that's the gentleman that I am here to meet.
Room 3, go ahead.
Oh, and he quickly, darts his head towards the hallway and then towards the woman, waiting for her to, guide him there, but then after a few moments of awkwardness, he starts to slowly make his way towards room 3.
The receptionist takes a long draft of a cigarette and then rolls her eyes as he runs off down the hall.
Upon arriving at room 3, he takes a pause, breathes in, and then knocks on the door.
As you knock on the door, you see through a small window on the door that there are 2 figures standing over a bed. You see a man in the bed who looks like he's in his 20s. He has some cropped, wavy blonde hair and blue eyes, rugged, tanned skin, and he's got a very athletic build. But he looks to be unconscious at the moment. Standing over him are 2 figures, which I will let Parker and Savannah describe.
Standing before the man in the bed is what appears to be some kind of clergyman preacher man. He wears a small crucifix necklace about him. He wears very tattered traveling clothing, though you can tell that it's as kept up as it possibly can, and still dignified in kind of a more rugged aspect, with a basic coat and slacks and so forth. He wears what appears to be a small bag, shoulder bag to the side, and in his hand he is holding open a large black book, and he appears to be reading from it.
And then next to him stands a woman. She kind of appears not standoffish, but very confident in herself. She's got long brown hair and blue eyes, and she does have a face full of makeup on, and she's just watching the preacher.
Well, upon arriving, Jonathan just speaks to you both. Oh, I'm sorry. I am. Are you members of the family of the patient?
The man looks up from his black book. He appeared to be kind of mumbling from it. He looks at you and simply states, "No, I'm actually not too familiar with this man. My associate here, Claire, is more familiar with the man. She asked me to come and hopefully offer some comfort to this man, at least whatever's left of his mind that might understand."
Oh, I see. Pardon my lack of manners. And then he approaches with his hand extended. Jonathan Gabriel Lomatz. I am a solicitor. Sorry, I am a lawyer here from Arkan, and I am conducting an investigation in behalf of the mining company that contracts the miners here for the Red Mountains. Sorry, your name was, Father?
My name is Dillard, Donald Dillard, and I'm not Catholic.
Oh, my apologies. Dillard, sir, and then he looks at Claire, and Miss Claire, would you guys be okay with helping me with the circumstances? I understand that, Mr. Salvador here is unconscious, therefore he won't be able to help me with my questions, but if you guys have any information about him or what happened in the mines, it would be most beneficial for me and for them as well. And when he says them, he kind of nods towards the unconscious man on the bed, which kind of implies the miners that works at the mines.
As you guys talk, you do see the miner stir slightly.
Oh, I think he's coming about.
Maybe perhaps he has understood my words. Perhaps the words of the good book have stirred him to some semblance of life here.
That is correct. That is good. Good to hear that. Good to see that he's actually okay. Question, Keeper. Before I couldn't have it was a quick glance at the Salvador, but now that I'm taking a closer look at him from a distance, do I see any injuries on him, any markings or bruises, anything of the sort, or is it just sleeping? It is just the madness that I have heard that is inflicting these people.
You see some definite injuries. He has a large contusion on his forehead. He seems like he's still covered in just scrapes and bruises and dust, almost like he had to scuffle his way out of the mine. And he looks like he's a little battered. As you guys continue discussing the state of Salvador, his eyes shoot wide open as he looks around at all of you and says, "Where am I? What's going on? Where's the darkness? What happened?"
Oh, Father above.
Donald will approach the man and try to give a comforting hand on his shoulder and be like, "That's all right, son. You're safe now. You're no longer in that pit. You're back in Apache Junction."
And as you try to comfort him, he doesn't make eye contact. His eyes are darting around the room as he just mumbles, "It lingers. The darkness, it's there. The claws, they scrape, they bite. Ah.
What claws, son? Did something attack you?
He just still keeps looking around, mumbling the same things. "The claws, they bite, they scrape. The darkness, it lingers."
Oh, it is quite the affliction on the gentleman over here. This must have been something horrible down there.
I can only imagine. I've never gone into the mining profession myself, but it's never sounded pleasant.
And he cuts you off mid-sentence as he seems to gain some sort of lucidity for a brief moment as he grabs Donald by his shirt, stares him dead in the eyes and says, "You have to stop it, the darkness, before it escapes." And then he collapses back onto the bed.
Would Donald have... How do I phrase this? I'm almost wanting to ask for an insight check, but how convincing or how sincere did the man look in saying that stuff?
Roll a psychology check.
Okay. Ooh, I rolled a 6.
Ooh, that's an extreme success.
It
Good
is.
job.
As you look into the eyes of this man as he grabs onto you, in that moment of lucid thought, you can tell he knew exactly what he was saying, and he is genuinely terrified of some presence in this mine that he feels is a danger to the town.
Donald will look at Claire. I think something's in those mines. I don't think this was just a simple cave-in or accident. But that's just my feelings. And you know I follow my feelings.
And Claire will look and be like, well, I didn't call you here for nothing.
I think you were right to call me. Donald will look at their new friend and ask, do you know of a supervisor or local management for the mine, since you are acting in their best interest, I believe?
Keeper, is there some sort of check that I may use to discern, or were I given any notes or briefing about?
I'm going to say that you were given a document with information on the case, and the local foreman of the mine his name is just listed as Bill, and you're told that he has a cabin that's on the north side of town in the direction of the mine.
Okay, Bill. Yes. Reverend Dillard. And he kind of like shuffles through opening his briefcase, shuffling quickly through some papers. He pulls a specific paper and he goes, through my briefing, I was given a name of a foreman that is called, this gentleman is called Bill. Unfortunately, I was not given anything else in regards to this gentleman's identification, but he has a camp. He has a place of dwelling at the north end. Do you guys know this individual?
Keeper, would Claire or Donald have come across Bill before?
As a local, I would say Claire knows who Bill is, but neither of you would.
Okay.
And Claire, you would remember that Bill is a very gruff individual who only really cares about the profitability of the mining company.
So, knowing that, Claire will pipe up, oh, Bill, I know him. But I don't think he'll let us into that mine, though.
Oh, you do, miss. Well, thank you for bringing this up. I might be able to convince him to let us in, as I am conducting an investigation in behalf of the company that he is employed by. So, for me to conduct this investigation, I will have to see the mines itself, and maybe I'll be able to convince him to let you guys through as well. For sure, the priest. Not priest. For sure, the Reverend here will be able to provide some insight as well. And Miss Claire, you do know Salvador, right?
Brandon, would she know him?
How old is Claire?
24.
I would say you would know him because he's around the same age as you and also grew up in the town. I'll say that you went to school with him, but weren't necessarily close.
Okay.
Like, you knew of him, but you didn't really know him.
Yeah, like you can know somebody's name, but not necessarily have a relationship with them.
Yeah.
And so Claire will look back at Jonathan, and she'll say, well, we did go to school together, but I don't really know him.
Oh, okay, but if at least you don't know him, as a local, you might have information that will provide us a further insight about what happened and if there's anything pertinent that only one who knows the area might have privy knowledge to. Of course, I don't want to take you away from your responsibilities in your day if you do have other responsibilities or so.
If by nightfall, I'll be okay.
Oh, I'm glad to hear, and thank you for assisting. Reverend, are you okay with coming along as well?
Claire's the one that invited me to come out here, so I want to help this poor man as much as I can. This might sound a little cliche coming from somebody that walks such a path, but I have a bad feeling about this situation that there might be more to it that isn't necessarily of the physical realm, if you understand what I'm saying.
Oh, for sure. Well, I always heard that in the land of opportunity there are mysteries and there's blessings everywhere. So to have the insight of someone who is able to see beyond the mortal side of things, I think it's only beneficial.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, but yes, I am happy to stay and to help as long as is needed to make sure this man gets the best rest that he can in the long term, whatever that might be. Because these both him and those who have perished could use the prayers, and I find my prayers are more effective if I know more.
That seems reasonable. All right. In that case, Jonathan heads towards the door and opens the door so that the rest of the party may step out. Shall we then?
And Claire will immediately walk through the door. She'll be like, "Oh, thank you, sugar."
Oh, thank you, miss.
Donald will pass, and he's wearing a classic, more of a cowboy hat, and we'll kind of tip it in your direction and thanks, and pass through the door as well after Claire.
I nod respectfully towards the Reverend, and after they both pass, I make sure to close the door behind me, and I follow them.
All right. As you guys close the door and leave the hospital, I'm assuming you're going to Bill's cabin, right?
That is correct.
Yep.
Okay. So you guys leave the hospital into the blistering sun of the Arizona summer. And as you blink and block out the sun to try to look around you, you see everything in the town looks about normal. There's a large raven sitting on the top of the hospital, the edge of the roof, and it lets out a loud caw as you come out. You see, again, people are meandering about. There's a couple people that ride by on horses. It seems like technology hasn't really made too much of its way out here yet in the early 20s. Now, as you head north towards Bill's house, you reach the outskirts of the town when you find a surprisingly large home with a fence around it, and you see a woman out front tending a garden.
As we approach, I'm gonna say that Jonathan takes a step back, knowing that Miss Claire is a local. He wants to see if she's gonna take the initiative and approach this woman. It might be somebody that Claire knows.
Does Claire know who she's looking at?
You're able to recognize that it's Bill's wife, but you don't really know anything about her.
So even though she doesn't necessarily know anything about her, Claire will take a second and compose herself as if she's walking into a scene, on stage. And then she'll walk up and she'll be like, "Good afternoon. Is your husband around?"
The woman sets down the hoe she's working on and tips up her hat to look and see who it is, brushes some curly gray hair out of her eyes. And she looks up and says, "Oh, he's inside, but I don't know if you'd want to go see him. He hasn't been in the best mood lately. Something about his business. Something's going on. I'm trying to stay out of his way. That's why I'm in the garden."
"Oh, well, out in this heat, sugar, you gotta be sweltering. Maybe."
And you can see that the top of her blouse is pretty soaked in sweat, and she's got some dripping down her face. And she says, "Yes, but aren't we all these days? It's a little hot out here during the summer."
"Well, I quite agree, but maybe we could go in and improve your husband's mood. Get you out of this sweltering heat."
I mean, maybe I could offer you guys some water.
Almost immediately, Jonathan does start nodding his head. He's too shy to say yes, please, but at the same time, he's suffering so much under the sun because he is on a three-piece suit that he is like, "Yes, please."
The woman extends a hand to Claire and says, "The name's Evelyn. I don't think we've met."
"Well, my name's Claire. Nice to meet you."
"Well, I'll bring you guys inside. I'll get a glass of water. Why don't you come into the front room?" And she opens the door, and you guys see a large deer pelt on the floor with its head mounted above a not currently used fireplace. And there seems to be no one else in the room at the moment. And she heads into the kitchen.
Donald will take off his hat as he enters the home, and politely just stand off to the side, not wanting to make any kind of intrusion of any kind.
Okay, there is a couch and a few chairs, if anyone wants to sit. But
I was going to say, Claire will go in and continue being like her confident self and just sit on the couch.
Donald will stand still, roughly by the door. He'll wait to be invited to sit down.
And I'm pretty sure that Jonathan will basically do the same as Donald. He will step in, take off his bowler hat, and awkwardly stay position himself beside the Reverend. So
we'll see. And so as Claire's sitting on the couch and she sees nobody else is coming in, she's in like a dress. It's not like very heavy, but so she'll like fan out her dress a little bit so that there's like, you know.
And as you guys are getting situated, you hear some hushed conversations in the back, followed by a loud yell of, "Well, I told you I don't want anyone in here. Why are you doing inviting guests when I'm in here trying to deal with work?" And then you hear a quiet, hushed conversation again after that, and then you hear a door slam in the back.
Oh dear. Oh my, I have a feeling that I should have mentioned that I am related to the work. That might have smoothed things differently.
We should probably bring that up as soon as she comes back in.
Yes, very good idea.
From down the hall, you guys see a large, burly man wearing a loose-fitting t-shirt, just covered in sweat, and he's got a big ol' handlebar mustache. And you see he's carrying a pretty hefty-sized bottle of whiskey as he lumbers down the hall and enters the front room. This is Bill Hickok, and he enters the room, and he looks at each of you, and he says, "Now what do y'all varmints want with me?"
I make sure to step forward first, extend my hand and say, "Good morning, Bill. My name is Jonathan Lomatz. I am a lawyer. I have been contracted by your company to investigate the incident at the mines. I would like to ask for help." He
kind of raises an eyebrow and looks at you and says, takes a big swig and says, "You been sent by BlackRock?"
That is correct, sir.
"Well, you better have some good news, because we need that mine open by pronto, or else we're not making any money out of it, and I won't be able to afford any more of my whiskey.
Well, sir, with your help, I can do an investigation and get the situation solved as fast as possible.
He kind of takes a seat in a big armchair, which creaks under him as he rocks back. And he looks at the other two and says, "Now, what do you guys have to do with this? You guys lawyers too?"
Oh, they are here at my request. The more people that I have to help me, the easier my investigation will go. I have this priest here that will be able to help me with the locale, as well as Miss Claire here. She is a resident of the town, and I have requested them to assist, basically.
Well, as a lawyer, I have to tell you, and he takes another big swig, I took every safety precaution that we need. Those miners were totally safe. There was no cave-in. I don't know what happened, but I am not liable for those miner deaths. I know for a fact that I did what I can, so you can just get that out of your silly head right now.
Donald, roll another, would it be, I guess, another psychology check to see if there's any sign of him being either truthful or deceitful in his talk, and especially in his state.
Sure, you can try another psychology on him.
All right. I just want to roll dice.
You're good.
Oh, heck yeah. I got a 38, which is below my 50.
All right. While you listen to Bill speak, you're able to decipher that he genuinely does mean that he did what he could to keep the miners safe. Granted, it wasn't because he wanted to keep them safe, but more if he just doesn't want to get sued.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. So yeah, the reason Donald's interested is just because with his own general history with alcohol, he saw him lumbering in practically drunk, and so he's naturally suspicious right off the bat.
Oh, you can tell that he is very drunk and has some pretty intense alcohol problems.
Keeper,
Yes.
if I may, could I do a history check? Just in order, either history or an education check, just to see if I have done my homework about the history of mining industry?
Sure.
Thank you. Just a moment. All right, with a... did I fumble? Let me double check. Oh yeah, I fumbled, so for sure. I don't know how you want to make me fumble.
What did you roll?
I rolled a 98, even though I have...
All right, so you very specifically remember that mines in this area are meant for mining iron, and that they are prone to explosions because of flammable gases in the area.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I might be able to use this still. Jonathan approaches Bill. He very gingerly asks Bill if he has the permission to sit, preferably in a seat close to him.
Bill just kind of rolls his eyes, takes another swig, and says, "Do what you want."
I sit by his side, and Jonathan says, "Pardon me, but in my seldom experience, few incidents in mines has to do with the miners themselves. Not saying that it doesn't happen, but I always heard that the industry is treacherous, and certain things such as natural gases or the structure of the rock itself may actually prove to be more dangerous than complacency or negligence on the miners' turn of events. Would you agree with that?"
He kind of gives you a confused look and says, "What kind of natural gases you been sniffing? We don't have any of those around here. We just got the normal cave-ins, occasional varmints trying to break in and steal some copper. I mean, you're here for the right mine, right? The Dutchman's
Yes, that is
mine over in
correct.
Superstition.
All that I wanted to say is that most of the time is the fault of the land or the mountain, not the fault of the miners themselves.
Oh, that's what I'm trying to say. There's no fault on my part, but we still need to get that
Exactly.
place opened up. We need to get someone down there pronto and get that mine checked out, see if there's any more survivors, and once we get it cleared out, we can get
That's
the money
exactly what I
rolling
mean.
again.
It would be beneficial to my employer to have the mine open as well. But what we need to do is to determine what cause of the mountain was the perpetrator of this. You see what I mean?
Well, I wish I could help you there, but as you could tell by good old our friend in the hospital, Salvador. Sorry, I have a hard time remembering the miner's name sometimes. It's don't mind me. Anyways, as you can tell from Salvador, there's not much we can go on there for what happened in the mine. He seems to have lost more than some equipment down there.
What else did they lose?
His mind. At which point he just oh man, that babbling
Jonathan
fool.
does a little chuckle, but it's more meant towards making Bill feel like he's not being he's not feeling like I'm not understanding or I'm not finding it humorous, even though I'm not. But just to make him feel happy per se. And then he goes, "Oh, I see. But my good man, you can help us. If you are able to let us into the mines to see what went wrong, I can make a quick report, a letter, and voila, the place will be open. What do you say?"
Make a persuade check.
Hopefully it'll be better than my history. Alright, persuade. Oh, this is a regular success with a 34 on a 50.
He kind of looks you over and says, "Well, I don't know how well you city folk would do out there in the mine, but with this little lady here and Reverend there, looks like you might be able to dig something up. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with letting you go look around as long as you willing to sign a waiver saying that I'm not responsible for it if anything happens to you."
Oh, that is completely understandable, sir. And I appreciate your understanding on the matter too. Where is this waiver? I may sign it for myself. If Miss Claire wishes, I may sign for her as well, and so the Reverend as well.
He digs through a little side table by his chair, pulls out just a blank piece of paper and a pen, and just writes on it, just scribbles, "I'm not responsible if you die," and puts 3 lines.
I promptly pick up my fountain pen and I sign it, and I extend the fountain pen to either the Reverend or Miss Claire, whoever is closest to me.
She'll stand up and she'll do this fancy autograph on the paper.
Donald will take the pen, and as he goes to sign, he'll look at Bill and he'll be like, "If you could humor a question."
Depends on the question.
Has there been anything odd in the mine? I believe, as you refer to him as, our friend in the hospital, I don't think everything he's saying is completely due to a lack of stability.
I mean, if you want to join him in the loony bin, be my guest, but as far as I know, the only thing in that mine is copper.
And Donald will just shrug, and he'll go ahead and just do a haphazard signature. He's under the impression he's not sure how legally binding this scratch paper is, so but he'll do it to make Bill as cooperative as possible, especially in his current state.
Okay. The Bill is going to look at you and sees your skepticism of the paper, and he says, "What? Lawyer signed it. It's good to go."
It is quite legal.
And then he kind of looks at you guys and says, "Well, what are you waiting for? Go fix my mind."
Well, sir, thank you very much for your hospitality. Thank your missus for the hospitality as well, and we'll get there promptly. Have yourself a good day. And I nod and make my way towards the door to open for my compatriots as well.
And as you guys head towards the door, Evelyn comes back out, and she has 3 canteens prepped, and she says, "Here, I felt you guys might need these."
That is so thoughtful of you. Thank you.
I wish you luck. Please try to stay safe out there.
He'll tip his hat to her and hold the door for the rest of his fellows.
Thank you, miss. Have yourself a great day. Thank you, sir. And then he walks through.
So who wants to lead the way to the mine?
It has to be one of you guys because John is going to go into the opposite direction very likely.
It'd probably be Claire, because Claire would have to know where the mine is, right?
She would have a decent idea.
Can Donald actually do a history check to see? Because my thought process is, since he's a close associate of Claire's and close friends with Claire, that he would have. This isn't his first time in Apache Junction, so yeah, he wants to do a history check to see if he has a pretty decent idea, and that perhaps between him and Claire that we can find our way precisely directly to the mine.
Sure, roll a history check.
Rip. That is a 76 above a 46.
So you don't quite remember. Claire, being a local, I will have you make a navigate roll with a bonus die.
Okay, what does that mean?
So it means you roll 2 D100s and you take the higher one.
The lower.
I mean, yeah, lower.
No,
Sorry,
it's
I'm used to
like,
D&D.
Fancy words. And then should I roll it again?
Yep. You definitely don't want that roll.
No.
Is it like my history check?
Yeah, she got a 97.
Oh boy.
Ooh, that's not technically a critical failure.
Yeah, she just got a 4.
So, yeah, I got 4.
So, what was your total? You don't have any extra
Yeah.
points to navigate, so it's just the base 10? But hey, you got a 4. That's still technically a hard success. So, I'm going to say, as a kid, you and some friends, including Salvador, used to play around this area before the mine was actually discovered to be there. So, you're pretty familiar with it.
So she'll, like, after Donald tries, she'll be like, "Oh, honey, let me take you there. I know where it is like the back of my hand." And she'll, like, walk off.
So you guys head off towards the Superstition Mountains, and you know it's about 3 miles to where the mine is. As you travel, you guys get the strange creeping feeling that you're being watched.
Interesting. All right.
Donald will start praying. He will pray for comfort and guidance.
In the meantime, do you mind if I could approach, as we walk, do you mind if I can approach Miss Claire? Yeah, Jonathan gets close to you, Miss Claire, and he goes, Miss, do you mind if I ask you a question?
Well, I don't mind at all, sugar.
Well, my report, we were informed of weird sightings from the members of the mine, saying that there were, like, snarls or claws or something of the sort. I myself could not make much heads or tails, as you guys say, about this situation. So, do you know of any predators or any animals of the area that may have gotten themselves inside of the mines, and that's what were afflicting the miners within?
Would I roll a history check to know that, Brandon?
What are you remembering?
He's
Sorry.
asking if Claire knows about any like predators that would have gotten stuck in the mine.
I'll just say that as a native, you don't need to roll for it. You'd remember that there are a few mountain lions in the area and occasional coyotes, but they're pretty sparse in this area.
So Claire will look at Jonathan and be like, besides the occasional coyote and mountain lion, there ain't much to get stuck in the mine.
Oh, maybe superstition then. Do you know of any local legends or anything of the sort that, a mountain lion in the dark of a mine may look like, what do you guys call here, a werewolf or anything of the sort? I might be stretching here a little, but you never know with stuff like this.
In all honesty, I keep my hand out of the superstition realm. I don't believe in that stuff.
Oh, believe me, miss, I don't believe it either. But you never know what the miners may believe in, or if there is superstition running amok. So it could be something that is influencing the logical mind of our fellow friends.
As you guys are conversing and hiking, you start ascending a cliff face. And as you're walking, you do notice the ground gets a little unstable. So you two are talking. Where is Donald in comparison? I'm assuming since Claire's leading the way, you're behind them.
Donald would have noticed that Jonathan wanted to talk to Claire. He has no problem with that, so he's just following closely behind. I imagine he would hear snippets of the conversation, but knows that he's not being talked to directly, so he's not going to say anything at the moment.
Okay. As you guys ascend this cliff face, Claire and Jonathan are walking relatively closely because the path is only about 5 feet wide. And you notice that some of the gravel's a little loose. As Donald follows behind you, some of the gravel that Jonathan ended up stepping on comes loose, and Donald actually slips. Can you make Actually, I'll let you decide how you want to deal with this. So the ground you're on starts slipping towards the cliffside.
Okay. Can I make a strength check to see if I can grab onto anything? Because I mean, Arizona has, some people may not think it's a pretty landscape, but there is, I mean, bushes and shrubs and ironwoods and stuff like that grow plenty. So I'm kind of hoping that something's growing nearby that I can grab onto.
Sure. Roll strength.
Sweet.
See if you can grab on.
Well, I don't know if that's sweet or not, but
I mean, strength isn't your strong suit.
I got 65 in strength. So, and I rolled a 34.
Oh. I was just remembering you got a small size. All right. You managed to grab onto a tree branch on the side of the path to keep yourself from going down. And Jonathan and Claire just hear a little scuffle.
Looking back, I see the Reverend falling, I guess, or on already grabbing to something, and then Jonathan.
So the path started to crumble a little bit, and he grabbed a branch to keep himself from going down. So he's still technically on the path, but the ground underneath him is now slanted very much downwards in it.
Oh my good lord, sir! Let me help you! And like he puts down the briefcase and approaches in order to help as best as he can.
Alright, and you guys do hear another caw from above you as you look and see a raven perched on a higher branch of the tree that Donald grabbed onto.
Interesting. Jonathan, the focus is on the Reverend, so although he hears the caw, he just wants to help the Reverend up, make sure that he's safe back into the path.
Okay. You guys gonna continue on then?
He's safe on the path, I'll ask, are you okay? Are you hurt in any way?
No, I think I'm all right. Just got a little unlucky, I suppose. And he'll kind of finally notice the raven, and he'll be like, "What time of day is it, Brandon?"
At this point, it'd be about 3 in the
so
afternoon.
still plenty of light outside. He'll
Yeah.
see the raven. It's just kind of look at it for a minute, and then just, yeah, I believe I'm fine.
Really glad to hear so. Let us continue then. I step to the side so I can allow him to pass by me.
Yeah, he'll do so.
Keeper, at this point, are we still feeling that feeling
Yes.
of being watched? I was
Yes.
wondering, is that okay for me to do a spot hidden check? Is basically a perception check. 'Cause
Absolutely.
if the feeling has been going on for this long, then it would have caught Jonathan's attention at least.
Yeah, no, you've got the hairs on your back of your neck standing up on
Alright,
occasion.
let's do this roll then. Oh, that's a hard success with a 22 over 20. No, sorry, not 22 over 25. My bad.
Okay. So as you look around, you make eye contact with the raven and notice that it is unusually intent in its eye contact with you. It is just staring at you.
Oh,
And as it sees you make eye contact, it lets out another caw and flies off.
Jonathan keeps his eyes trailing the flying bird, black bird that is walking in that flying in the distance. Such interesting fauna. And then I continue on.
You all right, Jonathan?
Oh, yes. It's such an interesting bird. I could swear it was observing me. But maybe I just look a little worse for wear in this heat. I'm a little bit off my element.
That's all right. I've had this weird feeling that we've been being watched this whole time. It's an uneasy feeling.
Oh, Jonathan looks actually relieved. Physically looks relieved. Oh, it was not just me then. Is that a common feeling here?
No, it's not a common feeling here that I'm aware of.
I guess as long as we are alert as we go, we can try to make sure that nothing catches us or follows us.
Well, I shall pray for us.
You do get a feeling of a sense of peace from praying, and you feel like that feeling of being watched has lessened, if not gone away.
Donald will not be too surprised. Just he will also have a sense of relief as he kind of prays to himself, both for himself and for his companions here. You know, that they will be blessed to be safe and so forth.
All right, so you guys are continuing towards the mine, and I'm gonna say after probably another half hour of winding around this cliffside, you see about 8-foot opening in the side of the cliff with a wooden scaffolding built around it. Yeah, it's like an 8-foot opening in the side of the cliff, like a cave, with a wooden scaffolding supporting the entrance.
Oh, that looks not to be the safest of entrances. Is this a common thing for the mine industry?
And Claire will just look and be like, "Do I look like I get my hands dirty to you?"
Oh, pardon me, miss. I did not assume anything. I'm just a little bit overwhelmed by all the differences compared to Arkan and also where I come from. My apologies. I did not imply anything.
Now, Claire, we gotta be nice to our friends.
No, Claire will just look back and give him kind of like a death look.
Meanwhile, Jonathan is looking between Claire and like darting his head between Claire and and the Reverend, just actually not understanding what's going on.
Jonathan, as your eyes are glancing back and forth between the two, you do catch a glimpse of something red on the wall next to the entrance of the mine.
Oh, that seems like something. Oh, most.
And as you get closer, you see that scratched into the rock is a message. There's these grooves that look like they've been carved into the rock by someone's fingernails. And the red is bits of blood that have dried into the scratches that roughly forms the letters, "The Raven Sees All."
That's foreboding. And I think Jonathan is gonna bring the attention of his companions. Oh, Reverend, Miss Claire, what would you say, or what would you think of this message? And as he is bringing their attention towards the message, he's also picking it up a notebook from his briefcase and jotting down notes about what he's seeing here and what he thinks it might be about.
Donald will take a look at the thing that Jonathan pointed out. He'll read it and he'll naturally get goosebumps running down his spine reading that, because even though he didn't necessarily do the whole eye contact with the Raven thing, he would have not only seen the Raven, but he would have probably had seen Jonathan himself looking at the Raven. And with the uneasy feeling going around, he doesn't take these things lightly at all. So he'll see that and he'll immediately start reciting Psalms and saying to himself, "Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil." And he'll repeat that a few times to try to comfort himself.
Jonathan, as you contemplate the meaning of this message, you are brought back to a vivid mental image of making eye contact with this raven. And you recall almost a form of sentient intelligence behind the raven's eyes, as if some or other being was watching you through the raven. Make a sanity check.
First one. Come on, babies. You guys can do this for me. All right. Sanity. Sweet. 44 under 50.
Ooh, that was close. All right. You managed to shake off that weird feeling, but you have a feeling that raven was what was watching you.
Oh. No. And he starts like saying to himself, "No, that must not mean that. It must. There, Reverend, my good Reverend. Sorry to interrupt you, but do you know of any local legends about ravens that could induce this sort of message or behavior to write something of this sort?"
I was actually gonna ask the keeper if Donald can roll to see if the scratchings appear to be made, assume that they're made by a human. And obviously with this question, he would also like to roll to see if he can answer that question as well.
It does look like the scratchings were made by a human. And if you want to see if you can answer that question, actually roll an occult check.
So glad I put stuff into this. Not very high though. Oh, rip. I got an 81.
You cannot recall anything from any local legends about ravens.
Donald will look back at Jonathan and be like, "Unfortunately, I'm mythos that I know around this area and the surrounding cultures. I don't recall any in particular that have a raven at the forefront of them."
Well, Jonathan, who was basically asking this of the Reverend in order to find comfort, right? Find closure that what he imagined, which was the whole sentient mind looking through the raven's eyes towards him. was to find closure that was just his imagination and not actually what he believed. The fact that unfortunately the Reverend was not able to provide any explanation or something of the sort only makes him feel a little bit more insecure. So he, I see. No, it was just wanted to know, curiosity. I have an active imagination. Is the consequences of reading too many novels when I was younger. And then he dabbles his forehead again with his handkerchief.
I would suggest that we find some kind of information to go off of to help these miners, but then leave as quickly as possible. I don't like that anybody would have the mind to write such a grueling message on the side of the entrance into the mountainside.
I very much agree. Well, should we go in then?
Let us walk through the valley of the shadow of death, my friend.
Oh, yes. Miss Claire, usually I would say ladies first, but would you be okay with me going first into this cave? Thank you. He nods and then he starts to make his way in. Quick question, Keeper. I forgot to write it down on my possessions, some sort of lantern or something of the sort. May I?
I was just about to ask about that.
A luck roll to see if I was lucky enough to pack with me some sort of torchlight or lantern.
Sure, go for it.
Whoops, that's a 65. He's a gentleman, but he's not a practical gentleman.
So you look through your bag real quick, and there are no sources of light, and you see past about 15 feet into the mine, it goes into almost total darkness.
Oh dear. Miss Claire, Reverend, do you guys have any sources of light, by any chance?
Nope.
What are we rolling? I don't know if Claire would either, but are we rolling? What are we rolling? Luck?
I rolled a log to see if I had brought anything.
If the keeper is okay with it, you may roll luck to see if you are lucky enough to actually have. That's a way for you to, like, even if you didn't write something down on the character sheet, you may be able to write it right now. Sorry, I was just going to mention that it is important to say that if you succeed on your luck roll, you get the stuff that you're lucky enough to have, but it's also important to say that your luck decreases because you're basically spending your luck to. So it's kind of a give and take.
Oh, that's fine.
It's 1 point per success.
Oh, per success. Okay.
Okay, well, I have a 50 luck and I rolled a 21.
So Claire does just happen to have a flashlight on her.
Oh.
So Claire will pull it out and she'll be like, "Did you two not prepare for the darkness?"
I prepared for any danger that we might come across, and also prepared for our spiritual well-being, but no, Miss Claire, I seem to have not have considered this part with it being so bright outside.
I must admit that it was a shortcoming of mine to not have prepared myself accordingly. I am just really lucky to have people here with me that actually are better prepared, and I thank you for that, Miss Claire.
And then Claire will hand the flashlight over to Jonathan, so that way he can go in with the flashlight.
Much obliged, Miss Claire. I promise to take good care of it.
Keeper, I think with Donald, with only having the one source of light, he's going to be very cautious going in, and he's going to keep an eye out for any any mining supplies that might provide light, whether that's see if that's a lantern or if you can find a suitable stick to use as a torch type thing. He's going to keep an eye out for anything that might assist him further with the darkness.
Same on my end.
I only say that too just because I feel like that's not too far out of the realm of possibility going into this mine that's recently been reopened and is being used.
Yeah, if I can, I want to.
So you guys ready to
Yes.
travel into the mine?
Parker is, but Donald will go in.
So you guys descend into the darkness, and as you begin winding through the tunnels, I'm gonna say whoever's at the front, I believe would be Jonathan, make a navigate check as you find a branching
goody.
path.
Oh yes, that is very well expected. So I got an 81 above a nat 20.
You have no idea which path to take, so take a guess.
Take a guess. Oh gosh.
Have you? I don't know if this is a thing on what's it called, that game show. I don't know if it is a thing on Jeopardy or something like that. But Keeper, may I call a friend?
Sure. If you guys want to help him navigate, you can give him a bonus die.
We'll attempt to help him.
Would you say, Keeper, that the assistance of me doing the same check, would that be technically a pushed roll?
I'm gonna give you a pushed roll with a bonus die. Yeah.
Would you be okay with telling me what happens if it goes wrong, or would you like to keep it a secret so the bad stuff happens later?
Because you don't know what is down either path, I will keep it a secret. If
I
that's
much
okay.
prefer that, actually.
Okay, so for the people in the back, explain what a push die is.
So a pushed roll is when you fail a roll initially, and you ask the keeper to let you roll again at the cost of usually some sort of downside or cost for if you fail the second roll.
It's basically tempting fate.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
New terms.
Similar to taking a consequence in Fate Accelerated.
All right, here it goes. First push roll in the game as well. Thank you very much, guys. I actually got a critical success with a 6.
Yeah.
Nice. So you managed to spot a small speck of blood leading down the path to the left, showing that that is the direction that the miners came from.
Oh, my friends, I think the path is this way.
Donald is not comforted by the fact that in order to follow the correct path deeper into this mountainside with an eerie feeling is to follow the trail of blood.
Jonathan, he goes to Claire. Miss Claire, may I ask your help here really quick?
Of course, sugar.
Oh, please hold this light a little bit above. This way. Yes, thank you. And as she's holding the light, I'm making the notes really quickly on my on my notebook. Oh, thank you so much, Miss Claire.
Anytime.
So as you guys take this path, the tunnel makes a very sharp right after the split. So you go around this path, and as you go around the curve, you feel yourself step into something very sticky.
Oh dear. I regret to say, but Jonathan looks down to see what it is.
You look down to see yourself standing in a pool of viscera as you see the mangled corpse of a miner at your feet that looks like its insides have been ripped out. Everybody make a sanity check.
As soon as you said a body.
It's a very mangled corpse.
Oh boy.
Oh, okay, we're good.
I rolled a 5.
Nice.
Ooh,
Nice.
a little close, but still below my threshold. I got a 49 over 60.
And
All right.
your good old Jonathan got 52, above a 50.
So roll a d3 to determine your sanity loss.
Yes. Come here, my sad D4. Oh, I just lost 1 point of sanity. At least that.
So you are deeply unnerved by the sight of this body, but you manage to shake it off.
Yeah, he hesitates a little bit, and then he takes a step back. Oh boy, Reverend, I believe I found someone. I hope I did not disrespect it. I did not know it was there.
He puts a hand on Jonathan's shoulder and he's like, it's all right. Remember, even in the valley of the shadow of death, we will fear no evil.
And he was nodding profusively before, just because of that state, right? Like the scare and everything. But as the Reverend says those words, he actually starts to nod slowly, as in like, that actually calmed me down. Thank you, Reverend. Thank you for the words.
They are not my words.
As you guys are discussing this, you do hear a very faint scratching sound coming from somewhere.
I turned the torchlight towards the direction of the sound. Not quickly, but like just so we can see what it was.
You don't see anything further down the tunnel. It's just more
Have
tunnel.
we come across any supplies that would help our lighting situation at all by chance?
If you want to examine the miner, you can check.
Okay, well, I survived my sanity check. I guess I can look at it one more time. Let's see.
So as you look at the corpse of the miner, you do notice that attached to his belt is a blood-soaked
Still in
lantern.
usable condition. Okay, I will
Yes.
pull that out. I'm going to assume there's an okay amount of oil in there at least, and I will
it's still usable.
immediately light that because Donald, in his opinion, light's only going to help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As you light the lantern, it lets off a flickering red-hued light from the blood that is still stained
He
on
will
the
try
glass.
to wipe as he will attempt to make the light as natural as possible. He's gonna.
And as you're finagling with this lantern, you notice the scratching sound is steadily getting louder.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was about to say, I will kind of like Jonathan. I'll start kind of trying to hold out the lantern to see if I can see anything, or at least tell a general direction where the scratching is coming from.
Clara stands behind Jonathan because Jonathan has her flashlight. So she's like feeling her body as they're looking around.
So you guys look around, and oddly enough, the scratching sound seems like it's coming from the wall above the miner.
I regret to say that Jonathan looks up.
I regret to say.
And as you guys look to investigate the sound of the scratching, out of nowhere, a clawed hand erupts from the wall and slashes at Jonathan as a loud echoes through the cavern.
No, mountain lions, no!
And the attack rolled a 10, so that is going to be a hit. So it slashes Jonathan for 1 point of damage.
Jonathan receiving the impact, right, of the attack, he actually is pushed back. And I may or may not fall on my butt.
And so you not.
Okay. Yeah, so that was a surprise attack. And as you guys back away from the wall, you see this creature crawls its way out of the rock. And you see clawed, scaled hands with little remnants of feather nubs as they reach out of the rock. And then this almost humanoid face erupts from the rock, except for it has a strange beak-like mouth that's filled with fangs. And as it crawls out of the rock, it looks at the corpse and then looks at you guys. And it extends a tongue and runs it over its teeth as it flexes its claws at you.
Wait, it has a mouth with a tongue and a beak and teeth? It's a duck?
Yes. It is not duck. It is actually more
Valid,
raven-like.
Yes.
Nope. In Donald's mind,
It's
it's
okay.
it's a demon duck.
It's a demon duck. Yeah, the demon duck comes out of the wall.
I'm not entirely sure exactly how combat works per se. I feel like Donald he doesn't want to extinguish the lantern, so he's going to try to do what the miner had. He's going to try to clip the lantern to kind of his belt, or at least try to hook it around his shoulder bag, and he's gonna pull out a shotgun.
All right. Well, out of everybody involved, Jonathan actually has the highest dexterity score, so he gets to choose his action first.
Did you send him mine?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So, Jonathan, what would you like to do?
Did he disappear?
Oh. Jonathan, no!
How could you?
Yes, I'm here.
Pedro, are you still there? Okay, yeah.
Oh,
what would Jonathan
my
like
bad.
to do?
I don't know why. I thought that the reference was Jonathan for some reason. Oh god.
Jonathan, no!
I was just so excited with the concept of a priest with a shotgun that I was watching.
You're all dead.
It's okay.
Yeah, Jonathan is going to he's going to stand first. I don't know if he fell backwards, but if he did, he's gonna stand, and he's gonna try to create distance between the creature and himself by slowly walking back, but not too fast to provoke the creature into a run or something like that. But at the same time, he's also looking at the creature the whole time, so it's keeping eye contact and walking backwards until something else more predominant happens. Yeah, that's all that he does. He's a little bit stunned by this situation.
So, all right, Jonathan's gonna slowly back away. Donald, you are up.
Donald will push Claire to make sure that she stays behind him and Jonathan. And he will cock his shotgun, and he will he's gonna make a gesture, and he's gonna make like a crucifix gesture, and he will attempt to command the creature because he's gonna believe that it is an actual like devil demon thing, and he'll be like, "Begone, thou spawn of Satan! Leave us!"
All right, are you gonna stand
I
your
am slowly
ground?
backing up along with everybody else because I'm imagining everybody's doing that.
Claire, what about you?
Oh.
Claire?
Does this miner have a pickaxe with him?
He actually does.
So as much as Claire doesn't like getting her hands dirty, she's actually going to attempt to pick up the pickaxe. So that way they have something to defend themselves with against this monster.
Okay. Are you gonna take a swing, or are you just gonna defensively stand off
she's
against
just picking it up to defend with it.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you backing away as well, or? Okay. At which point the monster is going to observe you guys backing away, and with the fresh blood on its claws, it's actually going to jump at Donald, and it's going to take a swing at him. What would you like to do in response? Would you like to try to dodge or fight
I'm gonna
back?
pull the trigger because I got the shotgun leveled right at it.
Okay, I'll let you say you had your action ready to fire when it.
I
attacked.
imagine Donald would have been. I feel like he's a practical preacher. He believes in what he preaches, but he also believes in doing what he can on his end of things. If that makes sense.
All right, yeah. So the creature lunges at Donald, and he pulls the trigger. Roll to see how it goes.
Let's see. Do I roll the? Do I just roll the damage?
So you roll your D100 to see if you hit it first.
Ooh, I got a 76.
So as the creature lunges at you, it catches you off guard as it ducks below your shotgun blast and then swipes up with claws and attacks. But it ends up missing you with its claws because it was busy trying to dodge out of the way of the shotgun shot. So the creature misses, and then it is going to... one second, sorry. So it misses with its first swipe, and then it's going to take a second swipe at Jonathan. Jonathan, what are you doing?
I'm going to dodge.
Okay. So it rolled a failure on its attack. So it missed its swipe on you as well. You successfully dodged out of the way.
Yeah, I did get it.
And then it is finally going to try to clamp its jaws down on the barrel of Donald's
Does it have
shotgun.
a weakness to silver by chance? Ah, rip.
It does not.
Confirmed, it is not a duck werewolf.
Ah. Awareness.
Get the garlic.
It rolled a 2. So that is a critical success on the bite. But it only rolled a 1 for the damage. So I'm going to say it dents the barrel of the shotgun, but it leaves its claws thoroughly clamped around the barrel of this shotgun, and it's not letting go. It is back to Jonathan's turn.
Jonathan is going to, in a moment of in an instant, he looks around to see where Claire is, and he is going to, usher her, we need to run! And he tries to put his briefcase in between her and the Reverend in order to, get her to start running. That is the best that I can think Jonathan can do. He's not a fighting guy.
All right. So he's gonna try to keep running.
At this point, he's trying to. He's not gonna abandon them, but at the same time, he's trying to make them people run so he can run at full speed as well later.
Okay. I'm going to say as you back further away, you notice that the cavern does split again.
Dear.
So would you like to back down the path to the right or to the left?
Can I use a intelligence roll in order to see if I can remember which path was the one that leads out?
Oh, are you backing back towards the entrance?
I would say so.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, you remember which way is back.
So I'm
towards the
ushering
entrance.
people that way.
Okay. So you back towards the entrance. It is now Donald's
How
turn.
damaged does the barrel seem on the shotgun?
You have a high quality shotgun, so it's not really damaged. It's just the thing's
Okay,
holding on.
so I'm just trying to get a general. I'm just trying to see my options, at least from Donald's perspective, if the shotgun would still be usable without straight up blowing up in his face.
Yeah, no, it's not going to blow up in
Okay,
your face.
cool.
It's still usable.
How far down the mine have we gone?
You guys are probably about 100 yards in.
Okay. So, okay. He is... Yeah, Donald doesn't want to fight this thing. He's not ready to go toe-to-toe with Minion of Satan here. Because that's exactly what he believes is going on right now. He is going to... I'm assuming that if the creature is holding on to the shotgun, there's a good chance that he can still pull the trigger and hit the thing. So he's gonna try. He's not gonna pull the trigger again to. Well, no, hold on. Double-barreled shotgun. That's not a. It's not necessarily a pump action thing. It's.
Yeah, I think it would be in the back, right? Like the.
Yeah. You have to.
Yeah, you just pull the trigger a second
I get two
time.
shots. Okay. Yeah, he's going to try to shoot the thing again to try to get this off the shotgun so that he can run. With everybody else.
Alright. Make an attack roll with a bonus die because it is right
I was about
next
to say,
to you.
it's like hitting the wrong side of the barn here almost. So, let's see. So, the lower of the two, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am so glad. Stop rolling in the 70s. You're doing so... Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, I got 15.
Wow.
All right. So that would be a hard success on shooting it. Roll your damage, 4d6.
Oh, come on. Okay. I got 8. Yep.
8. As you try to shake this thing off your shotgun barrel, you manage to swing it down and pull it right as the edge of the barrel aligns with the middle of this thing's chest, at which point you blow a hole straight through it, and the creature goes limp and falls
Donald
off your shotgun.
Immediately run not like run away from everybody, but he's gonna run back to everybody and kind of like what Jonathan's doing is like, we should leave. So he's gonna be like, out.
And as you guys go to head towards the entrance, you do hear some more of these guttural growling noises coming from the other tunnel that you had not turned down. And as you round the corner, you do see that another one of these creatures is currently investigating the entrance of the mine, but staying just out of where the sunlight reaches.
Okay.
Yeah, Jonathan stops on his trails. Reverend, there's another monster ahead of us.
So Donald will probably look to where Jonathan's pointing and making sure that Claire is staying close. He will see the creature. Does he make note of the fact that it's literally just outside of the sunlight?
Everything's kind of hurried at the moment, and it's a little frantic. I will say, roll an intelligence check to see how perceptive you're being at the moment.
I'm pretty intelligent. Okay. 48 over 65.
Yeah, you manage to notice that it is staying just outside of the sunlight, and it is being wary of not entering it.
So I think Donald, so in his mind, he's like, we need to get to the sunlight. Well, number one, we need to leave the cave, but this just confirms that this is the best, safest option for them at the moment. So he's actually going to pull off the lantern that's still lit. And is the creature blocking the entrance, or is it off to the side, or is it?
It's
Okay,
right in the
so
middle
we're
of the
gonna
path.
be within its melee range essentially. If we try to run, okay. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have to. Okay, so in Donald's mind, he is actually going to chuck the lantern right at the creature.
Holy moly.
This might
Okay.
be my D&D side.
More experienced keeper. What kind of role would you have
wonder-
that be?
I think there's a throw roll here somewhere. Yep.
Oh, there is a throw.
There's a
okay,
throw-
yeah, make
oh,
a throw
there
roll.
is. Oh, dang. I should have put more into fighting stuff. Okay. Well, it's funny because I'm not trying to fight these things. I'm just trying to just get away
Distract
from
them
them.
or something like
Yeah,
that?
just get away from them. All right, come on. Oh, rip. 98.
So as you go to throw the lantern, you swing a little wide, and the lantern ends up hitting the side of the cavern, which cracks it open and sprays oil all over the pathway between you and the creature.
Oh, at least it's not a lit.
So there is now a pretty hefty flame blocking your way to the entrance, as well as this creature.
Oh no, it is a lit.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a lit
because in
lantern.
Donald's mind, I think he was hoping that fire light is something these creatures don't like. So he was hoping that if he could hit the creature with it, it would be the perfect opportunity to run past it.
You do notice that the creature is howling at the flame as it frantically looks back and forth between the sunlight and the fire, noticing that it is trapped. But it is steadily getting more and more frantic as it runs between the two.
I feel the same way.
Okay. In that case, Donald's gonna reload his shotgun. And have that ready, and he'll look at his companions and be like, he's just gonna look very confused too, like, oh, I don't know what to.
All right, quick question, Keeper. That effectively blocks
Yes.
our way out completely, right? There's no way around the...
Pretty much, unless you guys want to walk through flames.
Yeah, I don't think Jonathan is that adventurous. So Jonathan is just gonna look at the situation and go, there must be maybe another way out of this cave, either natural or another entrance. We might have to go back, but a different path.
You really want to go further into the cave system? Further into the mines?
I am sorry, Reverend, but I don't think it is. I don't think we have much options. But let's.
As you guys are conversing, the howling is growing louder in the background from the trapped creature.
Oh, from the direction we came?
No.
No, from the one that
Oh,
you trapped
okay.
with flames.
Calling friends. Oh God. All right. Reverend,
And you guys do hear some skittering in the direction of the other tunnel that you guys didn't take.
Reverend, we have to trust God in this and find our way out.
If he can walk on water, then he can get us through flame.
Oh dear. All right.
And he's gonna take, once he reloads the shotgun, he is going to take off his coat. He's gonna put it around Claire. And he's gonna look at us. And he's like, "We're just gonna have to leap over this. If we can leap over the oil itself, we should be okay."
Jonathan nods.
So, and he's gonna look at Claire. He's like, you're gonna have. He's like, you're gonna have to jump. And his idea is that as soon as Claire jumps, he's gonna try to shoot the creature so that she can run past it. Does that make sense? I don't know. This might be my D&D coming out here.
I think it would work.
Okay, so explain to me exactly how you guys are doing
So Donald's
this.
gonna look at Claire. He's like, you're gonna have to trust me. Leap over the flames, run to the entrance, get in the sunlight. We will distract the creatures. We'll be right behind you. And again, the idea is that his idea of a distraction is that he is going to position himself so that he's sure that he won't hit Claire, but also have a better chance of hitting the creature. And hopefully the idea is that if he can hit the creature, then it'll be distracted in the moment so that Claire can run past it.
Okay. Does Claire agree to this plan?
Claire will take her pickaxe that she picked up and shove it in Jonathan's free hand, because I'm assuming Jonathan still has the flashlight.
Oh, he does. He does also have his briefcase, but the moment that you shove it on his chest, he lets go of the briefcase and grabs onto the
Yeah, so she'll shove the pickaxe into his hand, and she'll be like, I guess this is it. And she'll attempt to jump over the flames.
Yeah, and as she starts running to leap over the flames, that's when Donald will take a shot.
All right, I'm gonna have Donald take his shot first then.
Yeah, he definitely, as scary as the situation is, I feel like he would still have enough wits about him to make sure he doesn't hit Claire. Okay, 32.
All right, that's at the exact threshold of a hard success, so you hit it.
Yes.
Roll 4d6. Because you are within 10 yards of it.
13.
All right, as the creature turns to look at Claire, it takes a shotgun blast right to the face, and it just crumples to the floor.
Yes.
Well, at least we know it's not a...
Shotgun Preacher has now downed
job.
2 of these creatures.
And also, we know that it sure is either a raven or a duck, because if it was a chicken demon, it would have gone crazy right now.
Well, Claire, you still jumping through the fire? All right. As Claire goes to leap through the flames, the hem of her shirt catches and flares up as she takes 8 damage from running through the fire.
Oh gosh. Stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll.
Literally.
I mean, there is a lot of dirt outside.
So you guys see Claire just burst into flames as this happens.
Claire will start.
The cotton in her shirt is pretty flammable.
Yeah.
Her dress. Yeah.
They'll see Claire just start screaming as her dress like catches flames, and it's like burning fast. It's like up in her, like burning her legs, and she's just screaming.
Lord above, and Jonathan, he's just gonna jump over the fire in order to help her.
Make a dexterity check.
Sure.
And I'm gonna ask for a hard check because this is, yeah. Because there is fire everywhere.
Is hard the half mark? Okay.
Yeah.
regular.
Oh, dear God. All right. I got a 25 under a 35.
Yeah.
All right, so you managed to jump through while only taking 4 damage from the flames.
That's not good, boys. All right, jumping over the flames. Yes.
So, remind me again, what are the rules involving
Yes.
a serious injury?
If in one damage, in one physical attack, the damage is either half of the total health or above half, the character suffers a major wound. It's basically like such a powerful damage that it will take extensive consequences. Starting with the fact that they have to do a Constitution check, and if they fail the check, they fall unconscious. They are just, like out. If they succeed, they are still conscious, but yeah. And you have to do a mark on the major wound section of your character sheet, because if you suffer another major wound or you reach 0 after receiving that major wound, you're dying. You're in the dying process.
So, Claire has sustained a major wound. Check your box and make a Constitution roll.
Thanks, you guys.
No.
Somebody's gonna be sleeping on the couch. That's a 64 to my 55.
So, Claire, as she rolls to get the flames off of her, you guys notice that the flames extinguish, but she stops rolling.
Oh no.
Yeah, Donald's jumping over too.
All right, make your dex check, hard check.
5. Yeah.
Like you rolled a 5?
So you do a backflip over the flames, right?
Okay. So I'm going to say you managed to make it through unscathed somehow, which is good because the fire rolled max damage for you.
Okay.
So that would have been 10 damage, which you would have been one
Yeah,
shot.
Donald will rush over to Claire.
Likewise.
Okay.
What's it? He's gonna. What's her status?
You can tell that she's still alive, but she has some pretty severe burns and she's
Okay.
unconscious.
So Donald's gonna pick her up and look at Jonathan and be like, "We need to get to the hospital now."
I agree with you 100%, Reverend. Let us go. I was wondering, though, is it possible for me to do a first aid check on her to see if there's any chance that I can? Yeah,
You
at least
absolutely
if
can.
I succeed on that, it should at least either get her to wake up or at least be in a better condition. Alright,
Yes.
let's see the first aid here.
So a successful first aid check will help her regain 1 hit point and bring her conscious again.
Alright, let's do this.
Can I
Okay.
assist him in any way with that? Actually,
So I'll let you assist him. Sure.
Thank you.
Take 1 bonus die. Mostly because my wife would be mad if Savannah's character
It's
died.
okay. It wouldn't be your wife that killed me. It would have been my
So what was the
Well,
result of your check?
Thanks to the assist of the Reverend, I got a 17 below a 30. So it's a regular success. It's not a hard, but
All
but it
right.
still is a success. It's better than the 87 that I rolled before.
So I'm gonna say you take some water from your canteen and soak some cloth and start treating her wounds while you try to wake her. And Claire, you come out of consciousness, but you are in some pretty bad pain.
Miss Claire, can you hear us?
And like, Claire will like kind of wake up, and she'll be like, "Oh."
And I'm going to say, Claire, as you wake up seeing that you are about 3 feet away from the corpse of the monster.
And who killed it?
Make a sanity check.
The sanity check is basically to say that that was not a dream. It actually happened.
Rip.
I'm gone. I rolled a 98 to my 45.
Oh no! All right, take roll a d6 for your sanity loss.
This is gonna be so bad. It's been a great run, guys. Lasted longer than I thought it was going to.
Okay.
So that comes out of my HP, yeah?
Comes out of your sanity.
that's-
Yeah, so it would go
So
from
44.
yeah, I think so.
A 1.
What did you roll?
Oh, at least that. Oh god, oh thank god.
Oh, that's not too bad. So you nothing drastic. You just wake up and you flip that this thing is sitting right next to you, and you start scrambling away.
Probably causing herself more pain, too. So.
Oh, Miss
Yeah.
Claire, move.
Come on, Claire, let's get you to the hospital now. And he's gonna try to as gently pick her up and carry her like as far away from this place as possible. So.
Okay.
I just for the sake of, I feel like it just makes sense in the role playing. Do you want Donald to roll a sanity check, since he's literally doing everything he can to protect Claire, but it just seems like everything he's done has just hurt her more?
If you feel like that would fit, sure.
Just because
I won't
he
say no to
tried
that.
to provide the distraction, then he had her get burned, and then suddenly she looks at this monster and starts freaking out, which he's the one that killed for her, and it's just hurting her more. Like, yeah. So,
Yeah, roll a
Rip.
sanity check.
that's a 71 over my 60.
All right, roll a d6.
Oh, 3.
3. All right. You are deeply hurt by the pain that you've caused your friend through rash decisions that have been made in a time of crisis. You're doubting yourself pretty heavily at this point.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense.
Jonathan is gonna offer to go in front of them because he remembers the gravel being a little bit unstable. The last thing that he wants is for the Reverend to fall while holding Claire, especially in her condition. So, Reverend, do you mind if I go up in front of you?
No, go ahead. He's kind of half listening to you, and it's almost like he's unconsciously just agreeing with whatever you're saying.
All right, then let's go. Let's go. Miss Claire, we will be there shortly. You will be fine. And I start ushering them back to, oh God, we have 3 miles ahead of us.
Donald is going to do as much as he can to carry her as far as possible.
I was gonna say limp.
Like, he's determined, like, he, in his mind, he has to do something to remedy his decisions that, as you kind of said, he felt like were the best in the circumstances, but still hurt his friend.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna say do a general strength roll to see how effectively you're able to carry her.
The higher one. Oh, come on! Seriously, I keep rolling in the 70s, man.
Oh no!
79 over 65.
Yo, man, change the dice.
Okay.
I know.
After about a mile of carrying Claire, your arms are they feel like noodles. You've got no strength left in them.
Here, Reverend, let me help as much as I can. We can both shoulder this together.
Okay.
Um,
And yeah, he'll take the assistance.
So, Keeper, how do you want to do this? Do you want to say that we both, like, with Claire on our, or like, arms on our shoulders, we walk her back and...
Yeah, I'm going to say between the two of you switching off and helping each other, you're able to get her back to town.
Right. As we arrive back in town, what time is it? Like, is it late in the night or...
You guys get back around 7 o'clock in the evening. So it's not quite nighttime, but it's the beginning of night.
It's still lighter than not if it's in the middle of the summer.
True.
Yeah. It's like twilight.
So we get to the hospital as fast as possible.
All right. You guys take her to the hospital and get her into a doctor.
Thanks, guys, for joining us for part 1 of our Call of Cthulhu one-shot. Thanks to Brandon for being the keeper for this first part. Thanks to my wife, Savannah, for jumping in as a player. And a special thanks to Pedro from the Storyteller's Tavern for jumping in again as well and joining us on this crazy mining adventure.
And thank you very much, you guys, for having me over. Do you mind if I say a little bit about the Storyteller's Tavern?
Go for it.
Thank you very much. For everybody who wants to know more, please come and visit us at the Storyteller's Tavern. You can find us on YouTube and our social medias as well. And make sure to catch up with our actual play of the Sullen Citadel. And also make sure to check out these guys. These guys are amazing.
Hey, we appreciate that, Pedro. It definitely means a lot. We've had a blast having you help us explore the Call of Cthulhu system. The sanity checks are actually, as depressing as they are, they're kind of fun at the same time. But you can find us, Nat One Nerds, on our Facebook and Instagram. You can definitely message us on our social media. But you can also email us at nat1nerdspodcast@gmail.com, all lowercase, no spaces. If you want to send us things that you're liking about the podcast, systems you would like to see us explore, things you would like us to elaborate on further from past systems, we'd love to hear from you in any way, shape, and form. If you're enjoying our podcast and you like what we're doing overall, especially on platforms like Spotify, Good Pods, and Apple Podcasts, like and share us with your friends, family, and associates, and leave us a 5-star review. It's very super helpful, and also be sure to leave Storyteller's Tavern a 5-star review because they definitely deserve it for sure.
Thanks again, guys. Thanks again for coming by, and we hope to see you for part 2.
All right, happy rolling, everyone.
Happy rolling.